Hello everyone, my name is Diana Doe, and today I will be presenting my topic over the model minority myth. So if I could ask the class to come up with a few Asian stereotypes, the chances are that a lot of these Asian stereotypes are seen as positive, such as becoming a lawyer or a doctor, or most likely working at an IT center, correct? And a lot of this has to do with the history and the way that the model minority term came about. So, what does the term model minority mean? It's often been referred to Asian Americans as being successful, and this can be a problem because it compares Asian Americans towards other minority groups such as Latinx or Black Americans. And Asian Americans are often portrayed as um, academically successful or financially wealthy. And although this can be true to a certain extent at the top percentile of Asian Americans, it doesn't necessarily supports the bottom 10th percentile of Asian Americans because there is a large racial inequality in the United States, as we will discuss in a little bit. So it's very important to consider that the model minority argument is very controversial because its backup claims are usually what stereotypical myths. So, despite Asian Americans having the highest median income of any racial group, Asian Americans also have the largest income gap of any racial group in the United States. So as of 2016, the top 10 percentile of Asian Americans earn 10.7 times as much as the bottom 10th percentile, compared with 9.8 for Black earners and 7.8 for both Hispanic and white earners. So you can see that this is actually not a true statement that Asians are the model minority when there is a huge income gap in the Asian American community. And this could be due to the disparities among Asian Americans. So it's mainly driven by the different levels of education and skills. And of course, being a bilingual speaker in the United States, it's very difficult. So we have to consider the region of Asian Americans as well. So a lot of Southeast Asian groups from countries like Vietnam, Cambodia, and Laos will lag behind other Asian communities that come from China, for instance, because these Southeast Asian countries are usually countries that have been ruled by dictators or have high levels of poverty, or just we have many refugees fleeing from these countries, especially after World War II or during the Vietnam War in the 70s. It's important to consider that the Asian American community is very diverse. As noted before, we have to consider the subgroups of Asian Americans, correct? And a lot of Asian American students at colleges and universities, or those traveling to the United States on H-1B visas, are usually coming to the United States to escape war and poverty. We also have this term coined yellow peril, which refers to the fear, mistrust, and hatred of, at first, Chinese Americans migrating to the United States. And then negative sentiments were also transferred to other Asian ethnic immigrant groups, such as the Japanese, the Korean, and Indians as well. So it is very important to note that yellow peril sentiment reduces Asians always being foreign, never actually being considered American citizens. As stated before, this foreignness component is often paired with viral contaminant. For instance, Donald Trump calling the coronavirus the Chinese virus because it originated in China. But this, you have to consider that the coronavirus is also a global pandemic. So doing so really really originates from systemic racism, as we've seen with the Spanish flu and the Ebola virus. There has been many stereotypes saying that the Ebola virus was, you can get the Ebola virus from Africans. And this stereotype is very similar to that. So this is very problematic because it blames a country and people who others continue to associate with disease and filth, as you've seen on social media often when the coronavirus was barely being labeled as a pandemic. But that is all I have for you guys today. If you would like to know more about the model minority myth, please feel free to reach out to me. I'd love to discuss this topic more with you guys, and I hope everyone has a safe and blessed day.